Welcome to the second summative assessment video. This time we'll be looking at file inclusion and using reverse shells for this. So again, in Kali, I've set up everything as needed, Apache server, SQL is running, etc. And also changed the allow URL include from off to on so I can actually complete this attack. So this is it all set up. We see we're in file inclusion here. And now we want to try and somehow get our file, a malicious file or something in here as part of the attack. So as I know, we're going to need to use reverse shells, and I know we're going to need a web shell in order to do this. I'm firstly going to go locate web shells and see what I can find. So we get a whole list here, and straight away I can see we got this PHP reverse shell.php. And that looks very interesting to me, and that's something that I'm going to want to use. So I'm going to make a note of that and potentially use that and copy that over to my current directory. Share -web shells -php. That should complete for me. There we go. And start the current directory. Now if we just ls quickly, we'll see we now have it here. And if we just vim this file, it's just a editor so we can inside the file. Here we are, a bit further down because I've looked at this file before. The descriptions, and you can see the IP is set up here and the port here, and we don't actually need to change any of this for this app. We may have to in other scenarios. Yeah, so I'm just going to quit out of here. And now what we're going to want to do is use this reverse shell for the file inclusion attack. So now I'm going to start up a simple HTTP server using Python. So if I go sudo the module flag, so this is someone else's code we're using, that's available to us. And I need to pick a port for this to run to, and it could be any port. I've tested other ports and it works fine. I'm going to use 443 because firewalls tend to block traffic to other ports. I've set 443 and 80. It's not a problem in this case, but it could be a problem in other scenarios. So just to make sure, I'm going to use 443. Put in the password. And now we have a server running. So that's all good. We got our server running, and now we need to somehow trick this website into going to a file, the reverse shell file that is on our server. So we need to make sure that the port and server is accessible by our target. So in order to get the rest out, we're going to use a tool called netcat, which is we just use nc in the command line to access. And we're going to listen on the 1234 port that we saw earlier in the reverse shell.php file. Again, we need the password. And now this should be listening on this port. And hopefully, when we complete the next step, this should give us access to a shell from which we can gain access to the system. So now if we go back here and we change this file, and we want to change this to go to our server. So if you go http .7.0.1, so this is where we are, and then also the port we're using, which is 443. Sorry, I've just missed off a dash there. There we go. And now if we go dash and then put in php reverse shell .php and then press enter. Let's give this a second. Taking some time. Okay, well, we can see here that now this has changed and our netcat has been listening in and it sounds something. And so now we're in the shell, and if we press ls, we can see there's all these files. And now the final bit we need to do is put who am I, and we can see the users coming through as www-data. And if we just quickly go into another terminal, close the Firefox, and I put who am I from a regular thing, you'll see it on the Kali user here, and there's the difference. And I can show that I've gained access using a reverse shell. And that concludes the second video. Thank you very much.